change. Before I forget, the fair parade, as far as I've heard, is at 3 o'clock today. It was delayed from yesterday. The donations for that are going toward the building fund. And also next Sunday is the 5th Sunday Children's Home Offering. And Phil the Gopher today has a note on him. I can see he's got a cute little inner tube here. Brother Greg and Lisa, hope you enjoy your renewal leave. See you in the pool. So Phil's all dressed up this week. We have a couple of thank you notes. Have I ever said thank you? I mean, I know I've spoken those 2 words, but what I'm talking about is one great big all-encompassing shower of gratitude for being who you are to me. Because I've never said it, I want you to know it's the way I've poured your hearts into this project. It's hard to read here at the bottom. Hearts into this project, and God has honored you by your dedication. And that's from Northwest Baptist. And this is from Breckenridge Health. Thank you so much for your donation to the Breckenridge Health Foundation in memory of Janet Shrewsbury. Donations to the foundation help make it possible for our volunteer board to achieve its mission, and we appreciate your support of this local charity in memory of Janet. And our birthdays. Pat Williams is June 23rd, today, and Mark Galloway is June 26th.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God loves you. Happy birthday to you.
And anniversaries.
I got those slides.
Go backwards, okay.
Yeah.
There it is. And Terry Lee's June 25th. Scott and Tara Shrewsbury is June 28th. Okay. And is there any other announcements before I have my... Okay, so quickly here, I'm going to take off my liturgist hat and put on my nerd and geek hat. We're 19 years into the 21st century, and look how far we've gone with this beautiful new sanctuary. It's modern, and something else has happened in this new age, and that is things like the internet. Our access to the internet has transformed the way that we communicate, and with that, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, it's become the way it is, and we don't want to be left behind if we are to progress, and not just with our building, but how we communicate with others. So to grow with that changing times, we've implemented a few social networking capabilities, and we already have a Facebook page that lets us make announcements to the whole world. But now we have, for anybody who has access to Facebook, we now have a Facebook closed group, and that is only for us, for our congregation, our members, our regular attendees, to communicate with each other. We run into a few quirks with it, one of which is we might invite somebody and the invitation gets lost in cyberspace, and we're trying to work around that. But anyway, as of this moment, we have 40 some odd people who are in that group, and if you're not in that group, just let somebody else know, and you have to be manually invited. You can't find the Facebook page because it is a closed group, and you can't search for it to find it. And why do we want this closed group? For instance, if you don't attend this church, you really don't care that we're having a trustees meeting on Tuesday and that we're having Nothing's Ministry next Sunday. And so it's only for people in this church, because nobody else really, you don't want to post it on the World Wide Web what we're doing here in this church. It's also for people who have a prayer request. And it's personal, and you don't want to advertise that on the World Wide Web again. You only want your church family to know, because you love your church family and they love you, and you want them to pray with you. Then that's another reason for having the closed group, because it's just, again, it's just for us. And what stays inside, this group needs to stay inside the group. It's also for your personal joys and triumphs, your glorious items, ideas for events for this church, and everything that's shared here is visible only to the members of that group. Now, live streaming. Why do we want to live stream our service? That's the Facebook page, what it looks like, by the way. Engagement. People watching live feel like they're involved and they aren't just watching a video. Take, for instance, the UK and U of L ball game. You want to watch it live. You don't want to TiVo it and watch it the next day. You want to, because you're more involved if it's happening right now. There's a sense of community when you regularly engage in social and live media. You recognize people and you begin to care for them, just like we do this morning in person. The involvement, people can become involved in our church through live streaming that otherwise could not. People in the military, they can watch us being live streamed. People who are sick in a home or in the hospital, all it takes is one of these or a computer and you can watch what's going on, right now. People who are on vacation can stay in touch with our church. People who spend their winters in Florida, where's the Mercers? Wouldn't you love to be able to see what's going on in your church while you're in Florida for the winter? I know I would. I'd like to keep up with what's going on. And outreach. Research shows that young people are much more likely to check out a church online before they take the risk of showing up in person. That's the way it is now. They want to check you out before. Okay, so are we live streaming right now?
I hope so.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
We'll change. Lori Simons. It's dying on me. Anybody got any Lori Simons? I know we got one.
Yeah, I got some good news. Went to the surgeons for a follow-up. Found out that they removed all extractions in my colon. All 13 lymph nodes were clear, so it looks like they've got it all, and maybe I won't need any kind of further treatment for the condition.
All right, maybe this will work. Any others? Sure.
Chris and I found out that we're expecting our first grandchild February 1st, so we're so excited.
I have a house full of grandchildren and grandpuppies.
All right. Pat?
As a birthday present to me, I've got some of my family here with me, my daughter and my granddaughter's boyfriend. That was
It's your birthday present. That's all you get, right? Brennan?
Most of you probably know that I had a little bit of a scare a couple of weeks ago. A melanoma was discovered on my arm, and I went in and had surgery. And before the surgery, they told me that there was a good chance this could metastasize somewhere else. But the good news is, it's only a 5% chance I found out, and my pathology report, like Jim's, was clear. No chemo, no radiation, so God is good.
Amen. Any others?
I also have a house full of children, grandchildren, and grandpuppies.
Any others? Make sure the attendance pads get passed back. I know I saw the one go back here, then make sure that one out goes. We only have two now, so one for each side, so make sure they go all the way back. Any others? If not, let's stand and share what we believe.
Let us say what we believe. I believe in God, Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, His only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, dead, and buried. The third day He rose from the dead. He ascended into heaven, and sitteth at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. From thence He shall come to judge the quick and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints,
And so, Lord, we lay all these requests before you this morning. Lord, we pray for your healing grace to flow over those who need your healing touch. We pray for those who need your comfort and strength and your mercy. Lord, I pray for those who lost loved ones. And Lord, we lift up the Pierce family, that you continue to be with them and the loss of Terry. And we just pray for your comfort to be with them. Lord, I pray that you be with the military and our first responders, police officers, all who watch over us and protect us, care for us. Lord, I pray that you will be with all these names that we've spoken before you and all these names that we didn't speak, Lord, that you know the needs of each one. Lord, I pray that you be with our church during this time of renewal, not only for me, but for our church as well. Lord, I pray that you bless all the speakers who will come and all those who will lead and worship and all those who will be a part of this time. Lord, may you teach us something new and guide us in this time in our lives. Lord, just thank you for all you do for us. Thank you for your blessings, for life, for hope, and for joy. Guide us in everything we do, and we'll give you all the praise in the name of Jesus who taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive our trespasses. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory forever. Amen. This time we'll have our scripture. I know I told Jill if I didn't see her, I know where she went. So the kids are staying here this morning. And so this time we'll have our scripture reading.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning I'll be reading from 1 Kings 19, 1 through 9, from the New Living Translation. When Ahab got home, he told Jezebel everything Elijah had done, including the way he had killed all the prophets of Baal. So Jezebel sent this message to Elijah: "May the gods strike me and even kill me, if by this time tomorrow I have not killed you just as you killed them." Elijah was afraid and fled for his life. He went to Beersheba, a town in Judah, and he left his servant there. Then he went on alone into the wilderness, traveling all day. He sat down under a solitary broom tree and prayed that he might die. "I've had enough, Lord," he said. "Take my life, for I'm no better than my ancestors who have already died." Then he lay down and slept under the broom tree. But as he was sleeping, an angel touched him and told him, "Get up and eat." He looked around, and there beside his head was some bread baked on hot stones and a jar of water. So he ate and drank and lay down again. Then the angel of the Lord came again and touched him and said, "Get up and eat some more, or the journey ahead of you will be too much for you." So he got up and ate and drank, and the food gave him enough strength to travel 40 days and 40 nights to Mount Sinai, the mountain of God. There he came to a cave where he spent the night. But the Lord said to him, "What are you doing, Elijah?" And may God add his blessings to the reading of his mighty word.
Let's pray. Lord, I give you thanks and give you praise for your word. And Lord, I thank you for what your word teaches us. And Lord, I thank you for great prophets like Elijah, who shared his human side with us. And so, Lord, I just pray that you would just bless this time, Lord, that you'd open our hearts and minds, that we would hear exactly what you have for us to hear. And Lord, I pray that you'd have me to say exactly what you want me to say. And thank you for the time that we had in preparing this. And Lord, I just lay these words at your feet. So you know you're stressed if you achieve a runner's high by just setting up. Or you know you're stressed if you say the same sentence over and over, not realizing you said it before. Sometimes I'll do that. Lisa will say, "You said that before." Or she'll say, "You never did say that." Or you know you're stressed if you make a list of things you've already done. Now, I don't make lists. If I make a list, I forget where the list is. So I don't do well with lists. Just a while ago, I had a handkerchief to give to Christy for Sawyer's baptism. I said it was on my desk. It was on my desk at one point, but then I found it on my bookshelf. I looked all over my desk and I couldn't find it. I organized my desk. If I organize my desk, I can't find anything. Next, you don't remember sleeping last night. It's happened to me a lot lately. I don't remember sleeping. I think I went to sleep, but then I wake up and I don't remember if I slept or not. And the last one I think is kind of funny, and it's my worst sense of humor, but you can actually hear minds. You know. I don't know if you can actually hear minds, but you can. 1965 came out with something like this. One of the first computers. A lot of people are stressed today. A lot of people are stressed, anxious, worried. And I wonder, why are people so stressed out today? Any ideas? Any brilliant thoughts or any thoughts that I at all? Why people are so stressed in today's world? Could it be maybe life doesn't go the way they think? Or could it be disappointments, failures? Things don't always work out. Could it be we're too busy? Constantly going. Never sitting down or never relaxing. Or we don't know how to relax. See, I think the answer found to our stress, the answer that's found to our weariness, and there's all kinds. Like you can go in a bookstore, and there's a whole section on stress. And I think the true answer in dealing with stress and dealing with God's answer to our weariness is found in His Word. Isaiah 40, verses 27 through 30 says this. O Jacob, how can you say the Lord does not see your trouble? O Israel, how can you say that God ignores your rights? Have you never heard? Have you never understood? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of all the earth. He never grows weary, weak or weary. No one can measure the depths of His understanding. He has power to the weak and strength to the powerless. Even youth will become weak and tired, and young men will fall in exhaustion. We all get stressed from time to time. We all get tired. We all get worn out. We all fall into this idea of weariness. But something really, and it really hit me this morning, something that really bothers me or something that really troubles me is how stressed and weary our kids are today. Now, I might be weird here, and I might be strange in saying this. When I was my kid's age and younger, I don't ever remember being stressed about anything. Other than if it rained outside, I couldn't go outside and play. But I would watch my kids. I watch my teenagers and I watch all my kids. They get so stressed out about all this stuff. They get stressed out about schoolwork. They get stressed out about everything. My mom probably wished I got stressed out about schoolwork because I never really did. You see, my idea of schoolwork was equal work for equal play, man. I did pretty good at school. I didn't do bad. But it bothers me. It really bothers me that it seems like our younger generation is stressed so much younger. And I don't ever remember being stressed that much. I didn't worry about things. And, you know, I have conversations with my kids, and I'm here this morning, so I can talk about them a little bit, not embarrass them too bad. But I really worry about my kids at times. But I just want to grab them and hug them and say, why are you so worried? You're 18 years old, you're 17 years old, you're 20 years old. You got the world ahead of you. Even younger. Why are you so worried? Then I think, well, maybe I haven't been a good example. Maybe it's because of me. But I wonder, why are our kids so stressed? Then I see this verse in Isaiah 43:1. It says this: but those who trust in the Lord will find their strength. They will soar on high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. If we trust in God, we put our faith in Him, then that stress seems to go away. That stress seems to disappear as we relax in His presence, as we trust in His grace, as we trust in His mercy. Then we looked at 1 Kings 19, verse 4. The great prophet Elijah, as Pat read to you earlier. Then he went on into the wilderness, traveling all day, and he sat down under a solitary broom tree and prayed that he might die. I've had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life, for I am no better than my ancestors who have already died. A little background to this story, as you've heard, he killed, God allowed through His grace, He killed 450 prophets of Baal. Jezebel got ticked off, and she said, before the day is done, I'm going to kill you. And this great prophet who had seen God move in a powerful, mighty way was suddenly cowering in fear and praying under a broom tree that he might die. Doesn't that seem strange? Doesn't that seem odd that this great man of God who once prayed that there will be no rain, and it didn't rain for a long, long time, then he prayed for rain and there was a small cloud that appeared on the horizon and then it rained? You see, there's this phenomenon that happens sometimes, and we have to be careful here, and I think we here, Hardsburg United Methodist Church, has to be careful here too, is sometimes after a great victory, sometimes after great victories, there comes a great letdown. Sometimes after things go wonderfully, and, you know, with this great facility now, and this great building, and, you know, it's like, wow. And everybody that comes in here the first time, they're like, their mouths kind of go open a little bit, their eyes kind of get big, and they're like, wow, look at this place. And I'm still running people that they said, well, your building looks great on the outside. And I said, but you didn't see nothing, you come inside. But we got to be careful that there's not that letdown for us. That we don't relax and say, man, we've arrived. So y'all probably be sick of me saying this. We ain't arrived nowhere yet. We still got lots of stuff to do, lots of work to do. We're not going to get cozy and comfortable. So during these 6 weeks, don't y'all get cozy and comfortable. This story is always fascinating me, but there's other stories like this too. Take, for example, you can look up this up at the end of the Gospels. In Luke chapter 8, verses 24 and 25, it says this: Suddenly a fierce storm struck the lake, with the waves breaking into this boat. But Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him up, shouting, "Lord, save us, we're going aground." These same disciples who'd been following Jesus around for a while, who had seen the great miracles, they'd seen the feeding of 5,000, they'd seen all this stuff, and they're on the lake, and Jesus is taking a nap. A storm comes up, and they're all in a panic. We're going to die, and he's sleeping. Somebody wake him up. I don't know if they drew straws, or they just said, somebody wake him up, and Peter was the one that always did the crazy stuff, so Peter woke him up. They'd seen all these things, and then they were caught up in this thing. Essentially, they were saying this: Jesus, don't you care? No wonder, do we do something sometimes? Do we down and slept under the broom tree, but as he was sleeping, an angel touched him and told him, get up and eat. You know, sometimes God sends angels. Sometimes they're in maybe spirit form, but the majority of the time they're in physical form. You know, that person that comes along and pats you on the back, the person that comes and smiles. You know, over the last few years, 2 years particularly, there's been lots of angels, and lots of you all in this room have been angels to me. When I was getting weary, and I was getting tired, and I was getting worried, and I wasn't sleeping, and I wasn't eating, and you would say, Brother Greg, it's going to be okay. We're going to be all right. And I would smile and say, yeah, I know. And I was lying when I'd smile and say, yeah, I know. Preachers do lie from time to time. Well, tell stories creatively. That sounds better. Yeah. But you know, I don't know. It just really hit me this week how much God has really blessed us in this time. He shared with you some numbers last week. I'm going to share with you some new numbers. We've had somebody step up in our congregation who said, well, I'll loan you some money. I'm not telling you who, but we had somebody step up in our congregation and say, I'll loan you some money to finish this building out. And so we're working out the details of that. We paid some bills this week. We've got a few bills left. We only had to borrow $35,000 to finish up this building. Now that don't mean y'all quit giving, okay? Don't quit filling Mr. Gopher. When you honor God, and you listen to God, and you follow God, and God just blesses what you're doing. But you don't take it for granted. And you're going to hear me say this over and over again. Y'all get tired of it, and you don't become selfish. You share His blessing. See, the crazy thing is, and I don't know how He knows this, but He's God. He knows. See, God always knows what we need, and He always sends who we need to help. I can't tell you the number of times I've seen this happen. I can't tell you the number of times in 27 years of being a preacher that God has placed somebody on my mind and my heart, and I'll go by and see them and visit with them, and then when I'm about to leave, they would say, I really needed to see you today. How'd you know to come by? I'm like, well, I didn't really know, but I just kind of listened. You know? And that's just the way God does things. 1 Kings 19:11 and 12 says this to Elijah. The Lord said, go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. And then a great powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks and before the Lord, but the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. Did you hear that? When did the Lord come? When did he hear him? A gentle whisper. You see, I believe God speaks, and I'm just throwing a number out here, it could be more than this. I believe God speaks in a gentle whisper 90% of the time. The majority of the time, it's that still small voice, it's that gentle whisper that God speaks to us in. That God whispers more than he yells. God doesn't yell a lot. I wish he did yell more. And I wish he used a 2x4 more. And I would understand more. But I think God whispers more. And if we're not still, and if we're not listening, we're going to miss it. But he wants us to listen. He wants us to be still in his presence. He wants us to hear that gentle whisper. See, I believe this. I believe God would much rather whisper than yell and tell people they're going to hell. He would much rather say, hey, I love you. I care about you. I died for you. You're my child. This is how much I love you. I never forget, I went with my mom to a revival one time. This preacher, I was sitting on the front row with mom and dad, second row. I don't know why we were up there so close. Man, he was screaming and yelling. He was red-faced. We were all going to hell. And I kept on like, Mom, can I leave? She said, why? I said, he's going to come and get me. You know, God whispers. He tells us how much he loves us. He tells us how much he cares for us. 1 Peter 5:7 says this, give all your worries, all your cares to God, for he cares about you. You see, there's one common theme to our weariness. It's this. God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, triune God. He loves you. He cares for you. He would do anything in the world for you. You just got to listen to that still small voice. Everybody keeps on asking me, what I'm going to do on my renewal leave? Where am I going? I don't know if I'm going anywhere. I don't know. Lisa's got this bright idea. She wants to travel with the Drum Corps and National on the bus. I said, honey, if that's your idea, go right ahead. I'll stay here and take care of the dogs. I think I'm going with it. Lacey, golf. I'm going to listen a lot. I'm not going to worry. I will probably get up several times and start to come to work. It's just a habit. I don't know how many times I'm going to drive by here. I do get to come mow the yard. But honestly, my one goal as simple as this. I want to listen more because I haven't been listening enough. I've been so busy focusing on other things and trying to get other things done. It just really hit me this morning. You haven't been listening nearly enough as you need to. Thankfully, he's still been talking to me. And thankfully, he still loves me. But I just want to listen more. And be still. So my prayer for you is that you will listen more and be still. Hear the voice of God and that gentle whisper say, I love you. Let's pray. Lord, I give you thanks today for all you do in our lives. And Lord, I just pray today that if someone's here today that doesn't really know how much you love them, Lord, that they will hear you in that still small voice say, I love you this much. I love you this much that I sent my son to die on the cross for you. And so, Lord, this morning the altar's open. If anyone wants to come and pray, Lord, I just pray that you would just use this time that we're all about to embark on to speak to us in that still small voice that we can hear and know that it's you. And we'll give you all the praise. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Dealing with stress, God doesn't answer emails, he answers need. What a wonderful place to be. To relieve that stress and to hear that whisper. Let us stand. Near to the heart.
Lord, as we go from this your house today, let us go with your peace, knowing that no matter what we face, that we can hold on to you and that you'll get us through. So Lord, I just pray your blessings upon us as we go on this new journey for the next 6 weeks. Lord, guide us and lead us. I pray your blessing upon all those who will come and speak, all those who come and lead us in worship and singing. And Lord, I just pray that you would just bless and protect us over these next 6 weeks. Keep us safe and watch over us, and we'll give you all the praise. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.